Saturday's Little 500 qualifications officially kicked off the countdown to the world's greatest college weekend, with 65 men and women's teams vying for the pole position on race day. We have full coverage of where teams stand and who didn't make the cut.
In a game that lasted 2 days, consisted of 14 pitchers and 130 miles, IU baseball finished a delayed matchup with Evansville back in Bloomington on Sunday. Could the Hoosiers pop the Purple Aces in the home opener?
And in an attempt to even out their Big Ten record, the softball team hosted Minnesota over the weekend and relied on the pitching of Fresno State transfer Morgan Mello to put Indiana over the 500 mark in the conference. Stay tuned for all this and much, much more inside this edition of Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome into tonight's edition of Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Matt Gard, and alongside me, Kathy Rawley. And Kathy, the sun is shining, the birds are trying to sing, and that can only mean a few things. Baseball season is underway, and Little 5 is right around the corner.
That's right, Matt. With basketball season finally wrapping up, it's time to shift our attention to baseball and everyone's favorite, the Little 500. Each year at the end of the March, qualifications for the Little 500 kicks off the countdown to the women and men's race held in April. This year's quals were shocking to say the least, as 5-time defending men's champs, the Cutters, were knocked off from their pole position 7 hours into the day by Sigma Nu, who secured their position with a time of 2 minutes and 25.91 seconds. SNU started in the 21st spot of the lineups last year, and this is their highest qualification in 10 years. On the women's side, Delta Gamma will be wearing the green jerseys on race day as they beat defending champion Teeter to the pole position with a qual time of 2 minutes and 44.76 seconds. Other top finishers for the women's race included Teeter, Army, Wingate, and last year's pole setters Kappa Kappa Gamma with a time of 2 minutes and 51.24 seconds. On the men's side, the Cutters fell to the second starting spot, followed by Sigma Chi, Phi Delta Theta, and Delta Tau Delta.
The men's swimming and diving team closed out their season at the NCAA Championships in Minneapolis, placing 18th with 61 points. Sophomore Eric Ress finished second in the 200-meter backstroke with a school record time of 1:38.96. Meanwhile, halfway around the world, Margot Farrell competed in the French Long Course Nationals, where she placed sixth in the 200-meter freestyle race with a time of 2 minutes and 59 hundredths of a second, which is the fourth fastest time in IU's history of the event.
Chase Wright led the men's golf team into the Borders Olympics at the Loretto Country Club in Loretto, Texas. Wright's total score of 865 on the weekend was good enough for 8th place, his fourth top 10 finish of 2011. The teams finished in 7th place. The women's golf team finished 50 points behind Iowa State in the weekend's Mountain View Invitational. IU's total score of 907 placed them in the 15th position in the tournament.
The 12th ranked women's water polo team entered Saturday's matchup against the number 7 Michigan Wolverines on an 8-game winning streak. Shea Fournier put in 3 goals in an effort to keep the Hoosiers streaking, but the Wolverines proved to be too much as they netted 3 goals of their own in the fourth period to cap a 9-8 victory over IU.
Despite strong play from the number 1 doubles team of Leslie Hero and Miriam Sopel, the Hoosiers were unable to stop the Michigan State Spartans. MSU outplayed Indiana's top 3 singles player, which inevitably led the Spartans to a 4-3 victory. Charlotte Martin and Kayla Fujimoto were victorious for the Hoosiers in the number 4 and 5 singles matches. After being rained down in Evansville Saturday, the baseball team traveled back to Bloomington to finish out the Purple Aces at Sembauer Field. Find out if the Hoosiers could battle back for the sweep coming up next.
Morgan Mello decided she wanted to transfer from Fresno State closer to home for her senior year. Recording 12 strikeouts on Saturday and another 12 on Sunday, this proved to be beneficial for the Hoosiers. After the break, find out how IU did when hosting Minnesota over the weekend. Welcome back. It was a wild day for Hoosier baseball, complete with an electrical fire, a 5-run second inning, and a 4-run seventh inning. Who scored when? What happened where? And did anybody get hurt in that fire? Lucas Mayer has answers from Sembauer Field.
On a chilly day in Bloomington, after the Hoosiers defeated Evansville 6-5 in the first game of a doubleheader, which was a makeup game, IU faltered and lost to the Purple Aces 7-5. Most of the damage was done in the second inning when IU starter Brian Corte gave up 5 runs.
Well, I think we're disappointed. I think that we expected Foley to come in here and take 2 and take 3 if it hadn't been for the weather. But we got the first one and really should have gotten the second one, but had too many mental mistakes, too many opportunities that we missed. And I think that hurt us, and hopefully we'll regather this week during the midweek and head into Michigan with full steam ahead.
Mindset coming in here, we were kind of struggling to get things going offensively. Scoring runs is always a problem. Pitching's always been carrying us, and coming into today, pitching's been pretty good. And gave up 16 hits today. Offense couldn't really get it going. A lot of mental mistakes, so we really got to sharpen those things up. Tuesday, Wednesday, the midweek games we got coming up, and really rolling the Big Ten. You know, it's important to get it off to a good start.
Despite being down early, Hoosier manager Tracy Smith continued to press buttons with multiple steal and hit and run attempts that helped to build momentum and get IU back into the game. However, the aggressiveness also hurt the team at the end.
It's always exciting when someone steals a base, and we've got a couple guys on the team, Micah Johnson, Dustin DeMuth, that can steal a base at any time. And I think that aggressive style is the way we're going to play all year long. And you know, unfortunately, we made a couple of mental mistakes on the bases, trying to be aggressive as a team, myself included, that ended up costing us.
Last year I wasn't very a factor in stealing bases, but this year he's giving me the green light. He has confidence in me that I'll pick a good count to go in, and I'll be smart when to go, and that I'll probably make it there. Going to third base is a little more riskier, but I mean, he's had a lot of confidence in me.
The split puts the Hoosiers at 14-8 on the season, with a big series at Michigan coming up this weekend. That will be the first taste of Big Ten play for IU. From Sembauer Field, I'm Lucas Mayer, Hoosier Sports Night.
The Indiana softball team was looking to capture their first Big Ten victory of the season against Minnesota at home on Sunday. After playing much of the early schedule on the road due to the weather, the Hoosiers are happy to be home and playing conference softball games. My co-anchor and Mike Flasterstein have more on the game and the upcoming Big Ten season.
The Indiana softball team split its first Big Ten series of the year, taking one of 2 games from the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The series marked games 9 and 10 of an 11-game homestand.
We've dropped some tough games, and then we've had to come back, and you know, my thing was if we executed, we would win a ball game.
After being shut out in their first contest of the series, the Hoosiers bounced back to beat Minnesota 4-2 as they got their first Big Ten win of the year.
We adjusted. We worked on different pitches that the pitcher threw yesterday and tried to go along with that drop ball, and we came out positive.
Senior Sarah Olson went 3 for 5 in the series from the cleanup spot. She's led the Hoosiers offensively thus far this season, hitting 5 home runs and driving in 21 RBIs.
I definitely feel that, you know, everybody can always do better, and there's always that strive and that need and that want to do better, and I don't think that, you know, any of us have really peaked right now, and I think we just need to go from there and just keep on building and keep working. Senior
transfer Morgan Mello pitched 2 complete games in back-to-back days, striking out 12 Gophers in each of the 2 contests.
Morgan's a fierce competitor, in my opinion, one of the best pitchers in the country, and you know, her wanting to be at home and play at home was amazing. And so I obviously love the opportunity.
The Hoosiers will wrap up their homestand this week with a non-conference matchup against Indiana State. They will then head to Ann Arbor to resume Big Ten action against the 4th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. From the IU softball field, I'm Matt Gard, Hoosier Sports Night.
While most Major League Baseball teams are playing in the sun of Florida and Arizona, that part of the season is behind the IU softball team as they come back to the Midwest to play out their Big Ten season.
It's definitely exciting being at home and getting to play on our own field, and yeah, it is cold, but I'd rather be here than anywhere else anyway, so it's exciting.
We have a lot of our fans here and coming out and supporting us, and you know, everybody's family drives down to watch us. And I mean, there's IU fans all over from the campus that come watch, and it's just a great feeling to play at home.
Although there were some noticeable differences between the preseason and the Big Ten schedule, they feel that their difficult preseason, which includes some number 1s, will prepare themselves for powerhouses like Michigan.
Well, I froze my rear end off. But besides that fact, it's always good to be home. And I think that, obviously we got to play in this weather all the way around. We go to Ann Arbor next weekend, and everybody else in the Big Ten's playing in, kind of cold weather.
The Big Ten is a great conference to be in. We're proud to be in this conference, and yeah, the teams are definitely, competitive, and they're going to come out and want to play us and want to beat us just as much as we're going to want to beat them.
We go to Ann Arbor next weekend, so, obviously Michigan's ranked 5, I think, in one poll, and so it's going to be a tough competition, but that's what our preseason was about. We faced multiple teams in the top 10 in the country, and actually a couple number ones. So I'm hoping that we can come out and compete and, be in the game and win a game, because I think we can beat them. We've got to bring our whole game, and that's what we're going to work on this week.
From the IU softball field, I'm Mike Flasterstein, Hoosier Sports Night.
Morgan Mello hails from the Hoosier State. She won the 2007 state championship in Indiana after leading her team to a perfect 31-0 season at Hamilton Southeastern. She went on to play at Fresno State in California and had a tremendous 3 years there. And then she left, stating that she wanted to play her senior year close to home. Enter IU and Nolan Blair with more on the superstar pitcher.
Morgan's a fierce competitor, in my opinion, one of the best pitchers in the country, and her wanting to be at home and play at home was amazing. And so I obviously love the opportunity, because I feel like the program is going in the right direction, and she's kind of just a jump start. So it's thrilling to have her, and she got to play in front of her family today and yesterday and a few other times, so it's amazing.
With the Hoosiers going 12-36 last year, they have looked for a player to jumpstart this program. They have found one in Morgan Mello. Mello, as a pitcher, has more wins as a team overall than they did last year. Morgan Mello was very successful at Fresno State, where she was an All-American her freshman year and had 1,138 career strikeouts. But she didn't feel right there because she missed the state of Indiana.
Mainly because I was homesick, and it was my last year, and my parents weren't there. They only came out once a season, and now they're coming out to every home game, so it's great.
Mello, who has 257 strikeouts this season, the 5th most in a single season in softball history at IU, is very happy with her decision to come to Indiana University.
Oh my gosh, I love it here. The coaches are great, they're phenomenal. The players, the teammates, they just have each other's backs, and we all get along, so it's a great transition.
Mello has pitched over 25 times this season, but she says that is not affecting her.
I've done it before. Like my freshman year, I pitched 360 innings altogether. It was the most in NCAA. My arm doesn't mind it. So.
The Hoosiers head to Ann Arbor this weekend, where they look to continue their success. This has been Nolan Blair reporting for Hoosier Sports Night.
Coming up on HSN, we have an all-access pass to the men's soccer team at their scrimmage against former Hoosier players. All the coverage is here, and it's next, so don't go away.
Welcome back. The men and women's track team provided a necessary boost for the Big Ten over the weekend in the Big Ten SEC Challenge in Starkville, Mississippi. Derek Druin won 2 events for the Big Ten, including the 110-meter hurdles, and the men's 4x1 relay team, who took first place as well. The women's side had major contributions from Faith Sharrell, who took first place in the shot put, and Brianne Ehrman, who was first in the 1,500-meter run. Both the men and women's Big Ten teams are victorious over the SEC.
The men's tennis team had an undefeated weekend against Michigan State, number 18 Michigan, and Vincennes. The victory over Michigan was Indiana's first over a top 25 opponent since March of 2009. IU swept all 3 teams in doubles play. IU is now 15-4 on the season.
After the Columbus Crew was forced to cancel a reserve squad match against the Hoosiers, IU came up with a way to still play a tune-up game. Indiana gathered as many former players as they could to scrimmage against the alumni. Cody Sharrett has more on the game.
The IU men's soccer team began its spring schedule Saturday night with the first ever alumni scrimmage. Alumni spanning 3 decades of Indiana soccer came back to Bloomington to take on the current squad.
We had some very good players on our alumni team, and it was a good challenge for our players. Certainly many of them could be still playing pro right now, and it was a great test. Obviously physically wore down a little bit, the older guys, and our boys were put some at the end, but overall very good start. I'm very pleased with the approach that the team took and positive steps forward.
It was fun, growing up in Bloomington, I saw those guys play a lot, and it was fun just getting next to them and playing with them, and you learn a lot from them.
With Will Bruin and Andy Adlard gone, the Hoosiers will look to find a way to make up for the 25 goals the two provided last season.
Well, we need players to step up that had good production last year, but some of our young players who need to put more points up, whether it's through assists, goals, and they know who they are. And obviously we have some players coming in I think that can help us in that capacity too. But when you lose 18 goals with Will and 7 or 8 with Andy, it's quite a bit of your production. Yet I think our balance offensively will be better, and we want to be able to be a team that can break you down a lot of different ways. And that's something that today I thought we showed at times. We were pretty dynamic in the attacking third, and our mobility, the interchanging of roles was good as well.
Next week, the Hoosiers will head south of the Ohio River to take on College Cup runner-up Louisville. From the John Mellencamp Pavilion, I'm Cody Sharrett, Hoosier Sports Night.
The Indiana rowing team won all 3 of their races at the Indiana Invitational at Eagle Creek Reservoir over the weekend. In the first varsity 8 race, Indiana beat Notre Dame by a full second to capture the victory. In the second varsity race, Indiana finished ahead of the Fighting Irish, this time by 5 seconds. In the final race of the day, Indiana's novice crew beat second-place Notre Dame by more than 17 seconds. Well, that's all the time we have left on this edition of Hoosier Sports Night. Major League Baseball opening day on Thursday. Good luck to everyone's teams.
Make sure to tune in next week for a full Little 500 preview show. For Matt Gard, I'm Kathy Rawley. Thanks for watching.